Good morning, everybody. Happy game day. It is Tinker time for week 8. Matt here, along with Kyle and Ramey, the whole Stone Down Sports podcast crew, ready to give you a hand with your start sit questions, your last minute conundrums, any waiver wire moves you're looking to make today to shore up your team. And today, one of the biggest decisions people are going to be facing is what exactly to do with Josh Palmer being in the late game. Kyle, that's something we were talking about earlier. What is your strategy when you've got a situation like that?
It's tough because, me and you both have him in some leagues, and I have him in our dynasty. And, you want to play him, you want to kind of roll the dice. But your brain says you probably shouldn't do that and risk of getting a donut. My couple options for this week are, Justice Hill or Rashid Shaheed. Because I have him in my flex, so I have Palmer in my flex, just to give me some flexibility, obviously. But I'm going to go. Yeah, I know. I'm throwing Rashid Shaheed out there. I'm hoping he falls into the end zone. I'm hoping Carr can hit him this week. I don't know. As Olave's got his, what do you got? Arrested for speeding? Was it this week?
Yeah, something like that.
I think something like that.
Then he played the "Do you know who I am" card. I play for the Saints.
Right. And it's tough. You want to go with somebody with a defined role. I still sitting here thinking about going with Justice Hill. Instead, I'm back and forth between Rashid Shaheed and Justice Hill. Whose phone's vibrating like crazy?
Ain't mine.
That's weird. Anyway, it's a tough decision with Palmer being the late game.
It is. I'd rather he go off on my bench than get a 0 for me in my lineup. I sat him personally. I had a couple other options that I was looking at, and especially a week like this with nobody on bye, you've really got to make sure you're running your best squad out there. Ramey, how you doing today?
I'm great. It's early. It's Sunday. There's football on. I'm doing really well. Your Josh Palmer conundrum I run into occasionally, and I don't know if you look at maybe picking up somebody from the Monday night game. I don't know if you could pick up like a Reynolds, Josh Reynolds, somebody like that. At least you can have something to fall back on in case he does end up not playing. That's usually what I try to do, but it's tough, especially when they're in that late window. You want to play your best players, and you want to know. It's almost like they should let you know before the 1 o'clock game, before they're whether or not they're going to play for the 4 o'clock. But I understand why they don't. So it's a tough one. But I'm doing well. It's good to join you guys today.
Yeah, you weren't able to make it last time, but we've got the whole band back together here this week. Happy to take your Tinker Time virginity. I'll be gentle. And not having a bunch of teams on bye makes things a little bit easier. But when you get to this point in the season, every team is dealing with injuries. There aren't really a whole lot of, I guess you'd say, marquee matchups this week either. I'm looking forward to, the 49ers, Bengals. Obviously, the Lions are playing on Monday night. The Colts today, I'm sneakily high on Jonathan Taylor, just because of how well the interior of the Colts offensive line has played this season. They kind of look like they did a couple years ago.
Yeah, they're rounding back into form, and they've always been a much better run blocking team than they have been a pass blocking team. And having Taylor back is huge. So I agree with you. I think that the fact that they're trying to incorporate him more into the passing game is only a boost, especially if you're in a PPR league. Makes him that much more valuable. But he does seem to be kind of getting his groove back after being out the first 4 weeks with that ankle injury. It's taken him a couple games, but it seems like the workload's increasing, and in turn, his production's increasing. He had 130 total yards last week, and he had 3 receptions. So he's a good option if you're looking for running backs in a PPR league and you're trying to maybe make a trade for that stretch run. He might be somebody that you could catch someone off guard and buy low on, since he really hasn't fully come back and had that breakout game yet. You might be able to swipe him from somebody before he starts to break out.
For sure. We've got our first question of the day. Blue Jays start 3: Josh Jacobs, Alvin Kamara, Austin Eckler, Ken Walker, half PPR. Kyle, what do you think?
Kamara, Eckler, and KW3. I mean, we all talk about the Lions' rush defense. I think Jacobs is an out, so it's easy for me.
Yeah, I agree there. I'm not looking for Vegas to do a whole heck of a lot this week against what's going to be a fired up Lions defense. Ken Walker's going up against a tough D in his own right, going up against Cleveland, but at the same time, we know he's been incredibly effective around the goal line this season. He gets all of that short yardage work. Eckler is Eckler. I think this is going to be just going back to our conversation a little bit earlier about Josh Palmer. I think this is going to be an Eckler game. And Kamara, my God, does he get just a boatload of targets? And I understand it's half PPR, but when you're seeing double-digit targets every week as a running back, that still adds up really, really fast.
Right.
Yeah, I hate to make it 3, but that's when that popped up. The Kamara, Eckler, and Walker are the 3 that I'd go with. I think Jacobs, we talked about it on Thursday. The workload from 2022 seems to be catching up to him. And combine that with the fact that he's going against that Lions rush defense, not a great recipe. Sounds like Garoppolo's going to be back for Monday night. So that should help a little bit, but still that Raiders run offense hasn't looked great this year. And I would go with those last 3.
Yeah. I mean,
Awesome.
and Cleveland's defense against Walker's, probably going to be, still pretty good. They're a top defensive team in this league, but they gave up 168 on the ground to your Colts last week, Ramey.
Mm-hmm.
So they can be ran on. So don't
Yeah.
be afraid to start KW3.
Yeah.
You're welcome, sir. Thanks for
Yeah, if you
joining
haven't-
us today.
Yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Please throw us a like, and we're here 3 times a week to help you out. It is funny just how many targets Kamara is getting this year. I mean, it's ridiculous. You never really see that kind of volume for a running back unless they are specifically, the primary pass catcher out of the backfield. A name that's familiar to us, Kyle, is somebody like Theo Riddick, somebody who excelled in that role. Kamara is a good pass down back, but he's also excellent at running the ball. But it also goes to show just how poorly Derek Carr is kind of integrating into the offense there with the Saints. They really don't look good at all. I think you're going to see a Colts victory today, as a matter of fact, and for purposes of a very important fantasy league for me, I've got JT, so I hope he's out there to ice the game out. It does look like Zach Moss is going to be active today as well. They're talking about him being a game time decision, but even prior to this week, you were really seeing the balance of the rushing load there in Indianapolis shift over to JT from Moss. Moss still has a role, but he's more a running back 3 flex play on a week-to-week basis, where once JT really gets fully back up to speed, he's going to be that high-end running back 1.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a product. Kamara's receptions is a product of that offensive line in New Orleans too. They've been banged up, not playing great. So it makes sense that they're going to try to do some short, quick passes. Same reason why Taysom Hill is an option this week. He's really been coming on as of late, just because not only is Carr having trouble integrating into that offense, but he's not getting the time to be able to throw the ball deep to guys like Olave and Michael Thomas. So I think Kamara is a must start today. I mean, he's always a must start if he's out there, but I was pulling up some stats on him while you were talking, and he was out for 3 games and he's already had 39 targets and 35 of those he caught. So
Yeah,
not
he's
only
20,
is he,
what was it, 21st in the league in receptions,
yeah, not only
and
is
missed
he
some
getting
games. It's crazy.
yeah, not only is he getting a ton of targets, but he's catching the vast majority of them as well. So he's a great play if you're looking, especially in a PPR league for a running back. He's a must start. He's an RB1.
If Moss plays today, Matt, is he gonna not take away your Jonathan Taylor thunder that you've been talking about this morning?
Zach Moss has earned a role in the offense based on how well he played with Jonathan Taylor being out. I think by the end of the season, you're going to see something like probably a 60-40, 65-35 split between JT and Zach Moss. But even, on those limited touches, I think Moss can be, a flex option for you if you really need him. And obviously he's only an injury away from being a running back 1 because he showed us that earlier this year.
Right.
Yeah, but like you said, I think as the season goes on, the volume's going to go to Taylor. So it's good that you have a guy that can step in and give Taylor a rest, but I don't think he's going to be stealing that many yards or touchdowns from Taylor, especially as he gets more incorporated into this Shane Steichen offense. Ooh.
All right, Blue Jays, his first time stopping in. Do you guys do any prop betting? If so, you got anything you like today?
Matter of fact.
Yeah, I was just going to say a fool and his money are soon parted. Let's build a parlay. Let me get logged into the old sports book here.
Well, one came off the top of my head just from that question. CMC has gone 14 games straight with a touchdown or something
16.
like that. 16. So I would definitely have him as an anytime touchdown score, and I might parlay that with an Alvin Kamara anytime touchdown score. I'm going to see what the odds are on that, actually.
I just updated. Man, that's a great lineup too.
Let me take a gander here. For the love of God. I'm so used to Dude, I'm so used to betting through the app that when I jump on the website, it's like, holy shit, look at all this.
Yeah. It can be daunting. I do a lot of my betting.
I'm looking for. So today in the New England and Miami game, I think New England's going to try and run the hell out of the ball. And I was looking for Ramondre's rushing attempts prop. And maybe they don't have it up.
Yeah, it's in there. Rush receiving props, 39.5.
Rushing attempts.
Rushing attempts.
Yeah. Damn it, Blue Jays, you caught us off guard. That's not how it's supposed to work here Sunday morning.
Raimi, if you got something off the top of your head, you got anything?
Well, I'm building one right now, and the CMC and Kamara touchdown score is plus 168. So if you parlay those two, I wouldn't be shocked if that one hits. And if you want to get a little more froggy, add in Tyreek Hill as an anytime, and you get up to plus 353. Or you could go, or instead of Tyreek Hill, you could look at somebody like Jalen Hurts as an anytime touchdown scorer. Put him in there, and you're at plus 402.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go. I'm done.
I was just going to say, I like Nico Collins receiving prop. I like over 58.5 today against the Panthers. I think their path to victory there is going to be through the air. I mean, I don't even mind Tank Dell's prop either at 45.5. I think it's going to be a big day for Stroud. He's going to be coming in with a chip on his shoulder. This is a team that passed him over just, what was it, 6-7 months ago in the draft, and they took Bryce Young. So far, it's shaking out that he's the better player. But yeah, that's one I'd feel comfortable putting a unit on.
So Blue Jays, I'd love to know. It sounds like this isn't your first time dabbling in prop betting. Do you have any that you like? Like, I'd be curious to see what you're interested in.
Alvin Kamara's recept. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, are you a Bills fan? I know they played on a Thursday night, but I'm totally assuming by your name that you live in Toronto and you're a Buffalo Bills fan. So feel free to correct me if I'm making any incorrect assumptions, which I've been known to do in the past.
Alvin Kamara's reception prop is 4.5 minus 175.
Damn, that's really juiced.
Yeah.
But I mean, you'd think he's damn near a lock for that too, though, just given his target share.
I did it. He lives in Toronto and he is a Bills fan.
Wow. Jesus. Nice going, Randy.
Appreciate it, man. Hope you're enjoying the season. We talk about the Bills quite a bit, so please come back. We're on every Tuesday at Tuesday and Thursday at 7:00 p.m. And we definitely hit up the Bills with them being such a top level NFL team. Sorry to cut you off, Kyle.
Yeah. No, I do it to you all the time. Yeah, that's awesome. Heck yeah. Toronto, that's a city I've been wanting to get back to. I liked it the last time.
It's a fun
I was
place.
there.
Yeah. Once they give you your passport back, you should travel up there sometime.
Right.
Well, with his record, they're not going to let him in the country. So
I can get a passport. Yeah, excellent detective work there, Ramey.
Yeah. No, appreciate you hopping on. Yeah, if you've got any bets you like to discuss or you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them. I know we're focused a lot on fantasy football, but we all three definitely live in the world of gambling, so we're very used to losing our money.
That's it.
We sure are.
Throwing good money after bad.
Absolutely.
All right. Why don't we put together a parlay? I'm looking for, maybe just a little 3-leg parlay, something to make a few bucks.
Well,
I like
while
the
you're
Colts today.
Go ahead. Nice. Money line, or I know what is it? It's only a point, isn't it? 2. Oh, it's up to 2.
It is Colts +2 on DraftKings right now. But you know what? We're going to juice that up a little bit. I'm going to take the Colts +4.5. Minus 182. The Texans, I like today. I'll take them on the money line. Minus 170. 2-pick parlay at plus 146. Let's plug in one more.
Got a question here.
DK or McLaurin today in PPR?
Man, I think I'll jump on this one. I think I'd go McLaurin. And if it's PPR, the fact that the Commanders play the Eagles pretty closely typically. I know that Eagles defense is solid, but if there is a weakness, it's in the secondary right now. They did just pick up Kevin Byard. But I think I'd go McLaurin over DK. DK is going to get you yards, but he doesn't typically have that 7 or 8 reception game. And I think he's been a little banged up lately too. So I think I'd go McLaurin. It's close because they're both playing good defenses, but that Cleveland secondary is nasty. And I think I'd go McLaurin for today.
I gotta agree with you there. They played each other a few weeks ago. McLaurin had 10 targets and 8 catches for 80 some yards. So I like that. Is Matt gonna push?
I've got DK a little bit higher in my rankings this week. The difference, though, is negligible. Philly gives up the majority of their fantasy points to the wide receivers. This is a game that Washington needs to win if they want to try and stay in the playoff race. And I think Ron Rivera is also coaching for his job this season. Sam Howell will chuck it. That's for certain. I think Philly's going to get quite a bit of pressure on him today, though, as well. Coin flip, I'm going to take McLaurin. I think there's some higher target upside there, and I think he's got a better chance of scoring a touchdown today.
Great question, Colby. Appreciate that, man. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. Great question. Yeah, I like both. I'd probably coin flip it if I was in that situation, but I'm like 51-49 McLaurin.
It's not bad. I mean, it's a decent
Pardon
problem to have.
Pardon me 1 second.
Yeah.
My cat likes to fuck with the lever on my chair. Okay, dude, you need to go find something to do. Okay.
How does your cat do that? Cats don't have thumbs, Walker.
He literally just paws at the lever on the chair. Like he just started doing it the last couple of podcasts. He's done it, and I'm just like, all right, man. I'm sure people can hear that. Please.
He's like, watch this.
Little shit.
All right. I got one more leg on this parlay to do if we don't have any pending questions.
Well, I missed the whole thing. So what is it again?
Oh, I've got the Colts plus 4.5, Texans on the money line. And you know what? Let me do that. Yeah, I'll take the Chiefs minus 2.5 at plus 238.
It's a nice little parlay you got there.
Oh, not too shabby. Not too shabby. Feel free to follow or ignore if you want to lose your money. Whatever works best for you. All right. Yes. Isaac Ramirez, Isaac, Rashee Rice, snowing, FYI, or Amari Cooper. I'm not concerned about the snow there in Denver. Yep, they're only supposed to get about an inch of snow throughout the entire day today. Most of the snow is going to be moved through. I don't think it's going to be an issue at all. Amari Cooper, he's not been playing well this year. Seattle's rookie cornerback too, Christian Witherspoon. He's like graded out as the best cornerback in the NFL, or Devin Witherspoon. He's graded out as the best cornerback in the league so far this year. And with PJ Walker at quarterback, that's just not a chance I'm willing to take. I think that's going to be a pretty low scoring game anyway. Rashee Rice is seeing his share of routes and targets increase by the week. And I think that trend's going to continue this week. I'm taking Rashee Rice.
I'm with you. I know you said Amari Cooper's not playing well this year, but I think it's a product of the quarterback play, along with him aging a little bit, but he's slowing down. But PJ Walker being in there instead of Deshaun Watson, who's mysteriously still dealing with that rotator cuff injury that he was cleared for a few weeks ago, but still seems to have a pain tolerance issue. I know he got banged up in the Colts game last week, but I'm with you. I think that PJ Walker is really struggling to hit guys, especially at depth. And I think for that reason, along with Rashee Rice really starting to pick up, build some chemistry with Mahomes, I agree with that.
Appreciate you popping in. Let's take a gander here. What else we got going on? Feel free to speak, gentlemen.
I'm looking at. I really like my TD score parlay. I'll take CMC. I'll take Kamara, and I would take. I'd put Hurts in there too. Get you plus 400. That's worth throwing $5 on. Unless you've only got 20 in your account, like some people, then maybe you want to do like 50 cents. But it's still the same thrill when it hits.
Why is CMC not even
That's
on
it.
the list?
And you got to remember too, when it comes to wagering, you can't go broke making a profit.
That's
Like most things in life. You know, every bet you place doesn't need to be plus 400. Be happy with a plus 150 bet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't need to put in a 6-leg parlay. 2 or 3 is fine. Yeah, everybody wants to hit for that big money, but how much are you spending before you get that win?
It's a great point. It's a great point.
Kamara, McCaffrey, and who else was it, Ramey, you did?
Hurts. I think it was plus 405.
412
That's-
now.
That's kind of a detriment to the wager you have going with Kyle. Jalen
This is
Hurts
true.
getting double-digit touchdowns. You're just
It's
pissing
it's
money
happening.
away today.
It
I gotta
happens.
make. It's kind of like hedging my bet with Kyle by just betting for Hurts to be an anytime touchdown score. Build up my bankroll so I can send him that $20 bill. He doesn't know that I'm sending it to him in nickels, though.
Here's 10 rolls of nickels.
You know where to put them.
Right.
I
Yeah,
prefer
plus
rolls of
412.
quarters. But
All right. Yeah, you're right. This for not having any buys this week, there's not a lot of premier matchups on the schedule. And I think next week it'll be a good one to talk about this week on our normal Tuesday, Thursday podcast. But you get Chiefs and Dolphins in Germany next Sunday morning.
Yep.
So that'll be one worth getting up for. We're going to have that on one of the screens while we're doing Tinker Time next week.
yeah,
Catching
I'm
the
looking
end of that
forward
game.
to that game. It's just a damn shame that's, one that got chosen to be played in Germany at the ass crack of dawn, and that's rough if you're out on the West Coast. That's 6 a.m, 6:30 a.m. Nobody wants to get up that early.
I mean,
But
they
I'd
did it
rather
for a
get up that
reason,
early
right?
to watch football than I would to go to work, though.
Yeah, that's true. They do it for a reason, though. They're trying to grow the game internationally, so it makes sense to put a marquee matchup over there every once in a while because the following week is Colts Patriots, and we want to make sure that the Germans realize that it's not just always Colts Patriots type of games. So, but looks like our buddy Blue Jays has another question.
Or
He's
statement.
just given his parlay. He did.
Nice.
Jonnu over 31.5. Michael Pittman over 5.5 receptions. Ramey, I like that one. And Jalen Reed over 2.5 receptions plus 585.
Nice.
That could be a little shootout there in Green Bay. I'll say mini shootout, I guess, if Jordan Love is possible to do that. But I think they're going to be down and throwing the ball a lot. So I like that.
So
D-Boo. Hold on. We got here D-Boo. Good morning, D-Boo. Nico or Devontae Adams today? PPR.
Nico.
I think I'm going to go Adams against the Detroit secondary. That is the weakness of that team.
And it is a big
and Garoppolo's back, and you're right, Matt. It is a big weakness. But I'm a big Stroud and Texans and Nico guy too, so I like that too. But I'm like 55-45 Devontae. Great question.
I'm a little bit even firmer in the Devontae Adams camp. Detroit's secondary is just so damn bad. And you saw like once Garoppolo went out, you've seen a decline in Devontae Adams' numbers. Nico Collins has been pretty solid all day, but he's also more dependent on getting the ball downfield because that's his role in the offense, where Devontae Adams, they're just going to throw it to him no matter where the hell he is.
Yeah. He'll definitely get out-targeted from Nico.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if
12,
Devontae
13
Adams.
targets.
Yeah, another dozen targets on Monday. Great question, Dubu. Appreciate you stopping in. If you haven't already, please throw us a like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate your support. And if you have any other questions, we're here for that too.
Who's getting traded this week or tomorrow or Tuesday? Anybody think there'll be a big one or just some small minor stuff? Or
I think one of Cortland Sutton or Jerry Jeudy will get traded. I don't think they're going to trade Surtain. That would just be stupid, quite frankly. It seems like the Broncos have been in a rebuild for like the last half decade or longer, and now they're going to be kind of starting over again. As a Lions fan, I'm definitely used to that feeling. So it's, it sucks for Broncos fans, but at the same time, Sean Payton's kind of been a prick this year, so fuck him.
Who do you think would? I know the Colts were rumored for Jeudy for a while, but I think Josh Downs coming on in the last few weeks has kind of squashed those rumors. Colts really don't need another receiver. Who's a team that you think Jerry Jeudy could potentially end up on? Would a team like the Cowboys look at something like that? Maybe the Chargers?
Kind of.
I guess within the division, it's probably not going to happen.
yeah.
No, it's not. But if you're the Chargers, how bad are you kicking yourself right now for taking Quentin Johnston over Jordan Addison?
No doubt.
Just given the difference in play. I mean, it's not as bad as Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson, but still, like,
Oh God,
that's rough.
That video of the Vikings draft room, that NFL draft that year was just the excitement on their faces, and Reagor got taken because they were taking Justin Jefferson,
right?
And they made a great call, and they knew what they were doing.
Would a team like the Panthers maybe call and try to get a Jerry Jeudy?
It's possible. They've been saying they've been looking for a number one receiver, which they had in DJ Moore.
Yeah.
But just given how he's performed over his career, do you really consider Jerry Jeudy a legit number one?
No, but he's also not had a ton to work with out there from the quarterback perspective. Now, he has had Russ Wilson this year, who hasn't been great, but he's been solid. So I don't know. I think a change of scenery could be really good for Jerry Jeudy as well. Ooh, Dubu has another question. Dubo. 1 O is a long O. 2 O's is an oo sound. That's what I learned in school.
Yeah.
Logan Thomas or Jonnu Smith?
A game.
I'm going with Logan Thomas.
Yeah, he had 3 targets that game in week 4, and he was just getting back from I think he was injured for a week.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I'm taking Logan Thomas there. It's close though.
It is. Let's look at
living in that tight end wasteland.
You nailed the pronunciation, Dubo.
Today's my day. I figured out who Blue Jays, where he lives, he or she lives, and the teams he roots for, and I got the pronunciation. So I'm 2 for 2.
That's some exciting stalkering you're doing there. Awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I've had lots of practice. Yeah. You don't get to be a 38-year-old single man without a little bit of stalking.
Who does the Falcons play?
The Titans.
Titans only give up an average of 4 points to tight ends. And
that was with Bayard, though, too.
That's true. And the Eagles give up 6.5 fantasy points on average to tight end. So it's close. But yeah, that's a coin flip there.
Yeah, and I think too, just Logan Thomas gets
there's no buys this week. Is your
piece of the
tight end one hurt or something? Is this tight end one hurt or something? There's no buys.
Well,
I guess maybe you're in a
never know, man.
14
Some
team.
people wait
Maybe
on
you're in a
tight
14.
end
Yeah,
and just kind of
might
roll
be in a
the dice.
14 team lead, or some people hoard tight ends.
Yeah, I managed to snag Dalton Kincaid in a league, and I'll just roll with that.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that worked.
He had a
out for
nice
you this
night on
Yeah, that was
Thursday.
the podcast league. Yeah,
Excellent.
I think Dalton Kincaid's going to be a mid tight end one while Dawson Knox is out, whatever the duration of that is, at least the next 4 weeks or 4 games.
I got a question for you guys, and maybe it's a dumb one, but there are no dumb questions. It's a keeper league. Sorry,
Yep.
just mid thought. Yeah.
People
Makes
kept it
perfect
okay.
sense.
Yep, sure
Yeah.
does.
So just throwing this one out there, based on the outcome of the Packers Vikings game today, would you see the Packers trading like a Romeo Doubs or a Christian Watson and kind of hitting the reset button a little bit? Because we talked earlier this week that Jordan Love may not be long for the Packers if he continues down kind of the trajectory that he's been on lately. So do you see the Packers kind of hitting the reset button, and maybe as a result of that, there's a trade this week?
I don't think the receivers are the problem there. Especially they're a couple young second-year receivers. I don't think it makes sense to move on from them, either because of their play or just looking at it from an economic standpoint.
Yeah.
They're not really counting a whole lot against the cap. Aaron Jones coming back, I think, will help that offense on the whole. He's the engine that drives that offense. But how effective he's going to be that'll be the question, because I doubt he's at 100%, but if they can get 85% of him, even at his age, I think they'll take it.
Okay.
Yeah, because the defense for the Packers has been pretty decent. And yeah, Matt's right. It's the missing Aaron Jones has been a big problem for them. Take some pressure off of Love. He did well in them first couple weeks, and then Team Suck finally got some film and figured him out pretty quickly. Where is defense? Be like sharing your screen, Matt, and doing like we'll build a DFS lineup, the three of us together or something.
Sure, I can do that.
I see what you're trying to do, Kyle. Trying to get all my good thoughts.
Yeah, I was just trying to not sit here and breathe.
Get all my good thoughts since I'm on a 5-week streak of winning our DFS league.
Yeah, that's coming to an end.
Okay.
That's coming to an end. It has to.
It does have to, but
I told Matt last night, I don't care about this $5. I don't care who wins. But Raimi cannot win. Me. Yes.
It's not about the money.
Nope.
At this point.
Nope. It's not about the money.
All right.
I put in 3 DFS lineups, and that I feel
well. There's your problem. You've got your
really good about it.
You got to focus on one, like I do. Oh man!
All right, present. All right.
Ooh.
Oh.
So let's see here.
I thought that would show that a lot bigger. Oh well.
That's what she said.
Oh, okay. I couldn't do it.
Can you zoom?
Yeah, you can blow that up. In the bottom right, there's like a.
Oh, anyway. All right, quarterback. Who do you guys like this week?
I think you can get good value with CJ Stroud.
I agree.
Yep.
I think we should pair him up with either Nico Collins or a little bit on the cheaper side, Tank Dell. Tank Dell's at 4,900. Nico Collins is at 55.
I think Nico's going to have a better day, and I think you can get some value in the receiver core to kind of offset that higher price.
Nikos.
Yeah,
All right.
5,500. I had him. Jesus, I feel like you guys are copying me.
I'm
Or you're just going with the obvious stuff.
well. I mean,
hey,
if you
I'll throw out there that Addison's pretty cheap too.
Oh no,
700. Everybody's got the same lineup today.
And while we're at it, Zay Flowers
yeah,
is really good at 5,600 against the Cardinals.
Pacheco 6,100 is my favorite running back this week.
And Kamara looks good too.
Oh God, this is gonna be great.
We're gonna tie.
It'll be decided on which tight end you started or defense you started.
All right.
Oh man.
Kamara or Pacheco? Make the call.
You can have both if you
You can.
Both it is. All right. Tight ends.
We're not doing another receiver yet.
Well,
yeah, we gotta get these 4 pillars out the way, which I'd like to start doing next week as well.
yeah.
Tight end.
I don't think Ferguson is bad. I think Dallas is really going to control that game. You know what? I'm going to plug in another receiver. I like CeeDee Lamb this week. I know it doesn't seem like the greatest matchup in the world, but CeeDee Lamb is $7,600.
Right. See, I like
We'll
Ayuk
put a pin
better.
in that.
I like Ayuk better at 7, but
I like Zay Flowers at 5,600.
That's good too. Kirk is nice at 5,900.
All right, we'll go with
Downs
Zay
is even better at
Flowers, and we'll go
4,800.
with.
Are you watching our
Ayuk.
comments? We're watching our comments, by the way.
There's nothing in there.
I'm like, because I blew my screen up, can't see nothing.
All right, so we got tight end, flex, and defense. Defense, I want to go cheap. Piss. You know what? I'm going to go with the Vikings. Jordan Love is a garbage quarterback. I think they'll be able to create a turnover or two there in what could be a low scoring game. So we got tight end and flex, 48.50 left per.
Throw in Jake Ferguson and get yourself Jake Ferguson for like $2,800.
Now the thing I don't
like,
like to do in DFS is double up, and you've got CeeDee Lamb.
Oh
no, I don't. I don't have Lamb.
Oh, you don't?
I'm taking.
Oh, that's right. We went. Yep. Okay.
Oh, we went Ayuk for sure. Yeah.
Yep. I plugged in Breece Hall at the flex. I think he's going to do great today. Update entry.
I like that too. Nice.
There we go. And if we happen to just hit the nuts on that and I take down the tournament, I'll be sure and, give you all nothing.
It's fair.
Yeah, that's not fair at all. It's not fair at all.
It sounds like Kyle and I.
I'll give you credit.
I'm going to win $150,000 today. Sorry, $150,000. I don't even know how to say that. I can't do this. Yeah. I'm going to win over.
The language you spoke your whole life is apparently difficult.
Numbers are hard.
Correct.
So if you guys had to pick one game to shoot out today, let's say, and go over, I'm just looking at the totals here real quick, go over 50 points, what would it be?
Man, over 50.
Yep.
I've got one that
highest total for the game today is.
I'll say Bengals 49ers.
All right.
I'll go Jags Steelers.
Really?
It's 41. The Steelers have been playing well lately, and Jacksonville puts up some points. I mean, if a gun's to my head, not a gun to my head, but if I want to make some money and go over 50, you can make pretty good money off of that. Let's see what it would
Steelers
be.
are
Gun to your head?
the Steelers are 31st in the league in total offensive yards at 273 a game.
It's not about yards, it's about points, baby. Let's see. Let's see what that would be.
Ramey firing himself up. I like it.
Alternate
the
total.
Steelers are 27th in points per game.
Yeah, but they're coming on.
No, I mean, I got it. Let's see. Do y'all like the Jets today?
You could get over 250 for 266.
Blue Ways asked, do you like the Jets today? Yeah, I do.
Yep.
I think that'll be both teams are playing at home. The Giants played pretty good last week.
Their defense has been solid the past couple weeks. I really like Breece Hall this week. I think Garrett Wilson is a good play. The Jets are 3-point favorites. I would lay that 3 pretty confidently there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like the Jets too, but I think I don't know that that's so much that I love the Jets, that I just don't think that the Giants are that good, especially on offense.
Yeah. And that's the lowest total on the board today too, at 34.5.
As a Bills fan, Blue Jays, you got the Jets there in your brain.
You bet with your head, not your heart.
Right.
Remember that.
Yep.
I think Rams Cowboys could be a bit of a shootout.
I agree.
He's taken Giants money line because the line hasn't moved, and I haven't seen a single soul. Yeah. Interesting.
I mean, the Giants have looked better with Tyrod Taylor at quarterback than they did with Daniel Jones. I do think Daniel Jones is, probably the better quarterback overall, but that's kind of like saying you're the best looking waitress at Denny's. It doesn't really mean a whole lot in this context. That's a team. I mean, they're not going to make the playoffs, but they have played better the past couple of weeks, and it should be a good, if not, low scoring game. Also a Tyrod fan, Buffalo connection. Dude, Tyrod's not bad. I mean, he's not great. Like I said, the offense looks better with him in there, but he's not a long-term answer. And I really don't think Daniel Jones is either. They just didn't really have anyone demonstrably better available. And
so they gave him a shitload of money.
Right. Pretty much. Ramey, you're right, though. Rams, Cowboys. I don't think the Cowboys secondary has looked right since Diggs got hurt. And now you've got Stephon Gilmore spending most of his time on the team's other, best receiver. And that's not really what his game is anymore. Specifically like down to down coverage. He's more somebody who's going to try and make a big play. I think it's going to be a good game. I would take the Rams and the points in that game. But the Rams are also kind of a Jekyll and Hyde team. You don't really know which one is going to show up.
It's weird that that's a 1:00 game also.
It is.
We got a new comment. Edward. Oh, sorry, Matt. My bad. I'll click it again. Oh, God, I'm stopping.
Edward Zhang. Yo, guys, choose in a full PPR. Jacoby, DJ Moore, Christian Kirk, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson. Choose one. Jacoby Myers. I'm taking Christian Kirk.
Same. Yep, just right off the bat, same.
Garrett Wilson hasn't really looked the same with Zach Wilson at quarterback. Olave and Derek Carr are just not on the same page. You can attack the Colts in the secondary, but no. DJ Moore gets targets from T-Bag, but it's such a low ADOT that it's really all dependent on him to do something. Jacoby Myers, I would entertain taking him. I think Kirk has a little bit better, higher upside. And that's why I'd go there, especially in PPR.
Yeah, I was torn between Myers and Kirk. We talked just a little while ago about the Detroit secondary with Jacoby Myers, but in the slot is going to be Brian Branch, and I'm going to trust him in that Detroit secondary versus Jacoby Myers. That's why I'm choosing Kirk. What you think, Ramey? We could have left here. We'll leave the question up there.
Yeah, no, I know. I think Kirk is probably the right answer. I could entertain Jacoby Myers just because it seems like he's been coming on a little bit and stealing some targets away from Devontae, but that was with Garoppolo out. Garoppolo being back, he's probably going to look at Devontae a little bit more. DJ Moore is not really a volume guy. So while I like DJ Moore, I think if it's a full PPR, I think you guys are right. I think it's Christian Kirk, but I could be convinced into taking Jacoby Myers. Olave, I just with how Carr's played, just no. And Garrett Wilson, I mean, he could have a huge game, but he could also have 2 grabs for 23 yards, especially against that Giants defense. So I tend to agree with you guys. I think Kirk's between the volume and the production. I think he's probably the safest option and going to be the most consistently high scorer of that group.
Agreed. I will say with DJ Moore, though, if you absolutely need a ceiling game, that's who I would take. If you need somebody to hit their like 95th percentile outcome for a game, because DJ Moore is that guy who can go like 5 for 130 with 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Great question, though, Edward. Thanks for stopping by. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. Really appreciate your support.
I feel like DJ Moore is a little bit in the same vein as he's like the George Kittle of wide receivers. Like maybe not to that extreme, but he does seem to have the 2 games a year where he has 2 touchdowns and 140 yards, and then he kind of disappears. But that's a product of the quarterback play in Chicago too. And with Fields out, even with Fields in, they've been running the ball a lot more lately. And been successful.
Badgett is doing his best, but when your average depth of target is roughly equivalent to the width of a parking space, you're going to complete your passes, but don't really expect anyone to do a whole hell of a lot with it.
Yeah. Edward's got a follow-up question. I got one more question. Kirk Cousins, T-Law, Jordan Love, or Mr. Prescott?
Man, it's a lot of quarterbacks.
We're starting one.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
there ain't no way in hell I'm starting Jordan Love.
I would dump him, honestly, unless you're in a 2 quarterback league.
This is multiple choice. You should be able to eliminate 2 right away.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to go with Kirk Cousins. He's been on a hot streak. He made the 49ers defense last week just look ridiculous, and that was without Justin Jefferson. I understand this is going to be a division game, but at the same time, he's looked fantastic this year. He's in the midst of a career year. Give me Kirky. Beam me up.
I'll go with T-Law just to be a little bit of a devil's advocate. I think he's going to have a good day today, and if I'm going to hit that over 50, he's going to have a good day. So, I don't like Dak against that Rams defense. I think while it does have a potential to be a little bit of a shootout, I think he's going to be under pressure a lot with against that Rams defensive line. So I don't hate Kirk Cousins. Like if I had to take Kirk Cousins, I wouldn't be mad at all. So if we're choosing to, I would take those first 2 probably this week. I would not take Jordan Love.
Yeah,
absolutely not.
No, I wouldn't either. Dak's kind of Oh shit. I don't know. Yeah, I probably go with what you're saying. I'm trying to want to be different and go with Dak, but I don't even want to talk about a cowgirl. So I was thinking.
I mean, I would
maybe-
listen to an argument for Dak.
I would say maybe Dak will be on the field a lot because their defense is going to destroy the offensive line for LA, and Matt's not going to have any time to throw, and he's going to be on his butt and sacked 5 times. And they'll possess the ball a lot more. But
Yeah.
if we're going upside,
I think Cousins.
I'm going Cousins. I mean, he's already over 2,000 yards. He's going to be throwing the ball. They don't have a run game. They haven't had a rushing touchdown yet this season. Cousins is the right call.
Ooh.
Oh, damn.
He also has Etienne and Christian Kirk. So not.
Yeah, I diversify.
Well, that's a
little
scenario then where you start to think about what is Jacksonville's path to victory. If they're going to beat the Steelers, how are they going to do it? I highly doubt it's going to be because Trevor Lawrence threw for 350 and 3. Not against that secondary. Joey Porter Jr. has just been insane this year.
Steelers
ETN.
are 25th in the league in points allowed to running backs at 19. So, why did I say Steelers? Did I freeze or did Matt freeze? Oh,
I
don't know.
froze.
Nobody.
Anyway, I'll shut up.
Oh
Yeah, I think I agree. If the Jaguars are going to win, they're going to control the run game in the line of scrimmage. So I really like ETN. But if you have Kirk versus Lawrence, I think, I go Kirk. I'm sorry. Yeah, Kirk Cousins, not Christian Kirk. There's too many Kirks.
Cousins is a way to go because even in the event that, say Trevor Lawrence has an awful game, now you're smoked at essentially 2 positions because if Lawrence has an awful game, Christian Kirk likely does as well.
Yeah.
So that would be my thing.
Use that in a DFS lineup. Maybe.
Yeah, that'd be contrarian.
Yeah. You
All
could
right.
just nickname me the Plumpy Contrarian.
The Plumpy Contrarian. Can we just call you Plumpy? Plumpy K?
Mm-mm.
K Plump?
You're welcome, Edward, man. Appreciate you joining the show. Asking some questions. We're here every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 o'clock Eastern and Sundays at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. I do not remember what we were talking about before Edward's questions. Those are all great questions.
I don't either.
Yeah, that makes
Sweet.
3 of us. So
Screw it. New topic. Oh, we had just got done building the lineup and then, I don't know, something else.
we were talking about Tyrod Taylor.
Well,
I think there was some between that too, but
Yeah.
Sunday mornings are super
where the
great.
hell? Oh, that's what I was looking for. We've kind of chatted about a lot here. We talked about trades, or at least involving Denver. I think it'll be one of the receivers.
I'm looking for, some defensive linemen to get moved around. I really wish Brad Holmes would address that a little bit, but I have a fear that he's going to stand pat, not do anything, and hope James Houston coming back is enough.
Well, James Houston
Which
ain't
I
gonna
don't-
do shit for the secondary, so
That's true.
where they need some
Well,
help.
If they can get to the quarterback fast enough, they can help the secondary, but I get what you're saying.
I think today with the Patriots and Dolphins game, if you have Ramondre Stevenson or even Zeke Elliott, I'm comfortable with Ramondre as a lower end RB2, Zeke, if I've got to start him in my flex, I'm okay-ish with it. If they're smart, I think each one of those dudes would get about 15 carries today. Miami really struggles against the run, and I get it. New England's defense ain't half bad, but you want to keep Miami's offense on the sideline as much as you can.
So Mac Jones going to attempt 5 passes today? Wasn't there that game a few years ago against the Jets or Buffalo or something where they ran the ball 35 times and he threw the ball 5 times?
Yeah, it was against the Bills because they had like 60
Bills.
mile an hour winds. That game was fun to watch.
Papers.
Blunts are easier to roll, though, by hand. I still can't roll with papers.
I had a bad
But I have a
experience with a
device
great
that helps with that.
with a great flavored blunt wrap one time, and I puked my guts out. Another time, I puked my guts out on your front lawn, Kip.
That was fun.
Good times, 20-some years ago.
Oh,
Jesus.
shit. Making me feel old now.
That was, go to the bar or drink a 12-pack pre-bar and then go to the bar and have a bunch. And then, hey, man, you want to go over Kips for a while? Sure, yeah. Knowing what's going to happen there. Knowing it's going to happen. And, yeah, I cannot drink and then smoke. I have to smoke and then drink.
Well, you just smoke constantly, so it don't matter.
Yeah.
There's that.
It's all good, though.
Yeah.
You ain't hurt nobody.
You're not breaking any laws.
Thanks for popping in and checking on us, Kip. I always appreciate your support on the socials, too. You're always liking and interacting on there, too. Appreciate it. What was I going to ask you guys?
Rest of season, who would you rather have? T. Higgins.
There we go.
Or Calvin Ridley?
Ooh.
Higgins.
Yep. Yeah, I think he has more upside.
Yeah, and you just have that feeling that Cincinnati's not going to be like this forever. Like it's going to change. Like that they're going to start putting some good consistency together on the football field. And with Ridley there, it seems like Kirk's the number one dude there, and just not seeing it.
All right.
What did they trade? What did they trade for to get Ridley? It wasn't much, was it?
Like a sixth or something. Like
so
that.
I mean, it was a roll the dice deal.
Yeah. Well, if anything, it definitely gives Kirk a little bit more freedom to catch more balls in that offense, because you do have to pay attention to Ridley when they're both out there. But I do think Higgins getting healthy, Burrow getting healthy, that offense coming together. I think Higgins has the most upside coming down the stretch the rest of the season. I think the Bengals are going to look more like the Bengals as we go on. This week notwithstanding, but moving forward, I could see Higgins kind of separating himself along with Chase in that offense.
All right. So
And
how
I really
about
think
T.
the ball-
Higgins or go ahead.
Never mind. Go with it.
Somebody who was drafted right around the same time he was Jalen Waddle. So T. Higgins or Jalen Waddle rest of season. Both guys have been dealing with some injuries.
I think I gotta go with Waddle just because of how freaking potent that offense is in Miami.
I'll stick with Higgins. I think Higgins has the ceiling to have a 2 or 3 touchdown type of game occasionally. And I think with Tyreek Hill getting so much attention from Tua, I think Waddle's going to be consistent, but I don't think he has the potential for that explosive 152 touchdown type of game, just because you've got so many weapons that you have to spread the ball around to in that offense. Not that the Bengals don't, but it seems like over the last couple of years, you'll have games where Higgins has that 130, 142 touchdown type of game. So I'll ride with Higgins.
How about Dalton Kincaid versus Laporta rest of the season.
Laporta, without a doubt. He's got the defined role in the offense. We don't know what's going to happen with Dawson Knox once he comes back. Because for whatever reason this year, the Bills have been going with two tight ends so frequently, it makes their offense as a whole slower with the grouping that they have out there. Now that Dawson Knox is out, I think you're going to see them run a lot more 11 personnel, but it's going to be through necessity as opposed to a change in offensive philosophy. And I think as long as they're actually paying attention, I look for the Bills offense to do quite a bit better over this next month or so while they are running 11 personnel than they have up to this point. You know, and it makes me think too, if you think back a decade when the SEC was just ridiculously dominant, they were dominant because of speed, because the speed of their players and especially on defense was just amazing. And you've seen the offenses switch to that. And I think at the end of the day, that's the one thing you can't teach is speed. And you want to get as much speed as you can out there on the field. Look what the Dolphins are doing with just ridiculous speed there. As long as the Dolphins don't beat themselves, you can't hang with that speed. Now it does put a lot of pressure on their defense because they score so quickly, but damn, they've been running the ball pretty damn well too. They can't stop anybody on defense. They can't get that stop when they need it.
I'll throw a running back one out there. How about Chuba Hubbard or Deontay Foreman rest of the season?
I could see I'll take Hubbard, but only because I could see him taking over the lead role in that backfield more than I could see Deontay Foreman taking over the lead role there in Chicago, just because there's so much more there with Khalil Herbert, who's still out on IR. And I know they're really big on Roschon Johnson, who's, coming back from a concussion. Miles Sanders is so damn inefficient. And part of that is, just on the offense as a whole. And that's probably why Frank Reich is no longer calling plays, because they've got nowhere to go but up. Chuba Hubbard has proven himself over the past few years, even last year after they traded McCaffrey and it was Foreman and Hubbard, they both looked good. But I think just given the team context and how the teams are built and stocked at those positions, I think Chuba Hubbard would be the pick for me.
I would agree. I think that Miles Sanders has shown he's not a lead running back, even though they paid him like one. And it's interesting that they even paid him like that, knowing that they had Chuba Hubbard. They must have not had the confidence in Chuba Hubbard to be able to lead that running back room. But when he's been in, he's shown that he's as good or even a little bit better than Miles Sanders. So I think you make a lot of great points, Matt. I think with all the running backs that Chicago has, it's hard to say that Deontay Foreman's going to have a better season down the stretch than Chuba Hubbard. And I think that when Herbert's coming back, I think in a week or two. So Roschon's back or maybe limited just from coming off that concussion. But I think that there's just too many cooks in the kitchen in that running back room for you to be able to rely on one as your lead back coming down the stretch. And I think Chuba gives you that potential at least.
It's a good one. I'm curious to your guys' strategy on bye weeks. So you think back to when you're drafting your teams, how close of attention do you pay to that? Everyone was talking about Bye-Pocalypse last week, and it seems like every year there's 1 week where there's just a shit ton of guys out and everybody's scrambling and starting scrubs. How close of attention as you go through your draft do you pay to, hey, when are these guys on bye?
You pay close attention to, at least from my perspective, I start to pay attention to it in the 3rd or 4th round after I get through my first picks. I don't tend to pay too much attention to it as I make my first couple of picks, because typically I'm going off of value and I'm not really worrying about where the buys are. But as you start to build depth, that's something that you definitely take a look at, and it might impact who you draft in the fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth round, because you don't want to obviously double or triple up to where you're scrambling or have to drop someone with value just because you have so many people on the same buy. So in the early rounds, it's not so much of a focus for me, but as you start to build that depth, it certainly is.
So we got Blue Jays back. Anyone else getting excited for kickoff? Absolutely. My
Yes.
Lions don't play until Monday night, so today is going to
Same-
be a big red
same
zone
thing
day for me all day long.
I just wrote the same fucking thing in. Same damn thing.
Excited, but I'm Kyle, a Lions fan.
I'll be watching the Colts. I'm ready for kickoff. So
Yeah.
it'll be.
I thought about doing the 2 TV thing and using the Colts as my second game just to watch and get some more
Nah.
insight. But then Matt reminded me you were going to be absent Tuesday, and this wouldn't be as much fun if you're not here.
Yeah, going trick or treating.
Yeah, trick or treating.
Sounds like fun. I got some candy in my white panel van out front.
Nice. I will be knocking on that door. Oh,
Yeah. Thrilled for kickoff. This is my favorite time of year. Red zone is a complete game changer. It's great. But it does, by watching that all day and doing this and playing fantasy, you have to be very, very careful about just box score scouting and making sure you're jumping in. I enjoy watching the condensed replays on NFL Plus. That way you get all of the action, none of the fluff and the commercials and all that other crap.
there needs to be a 30 for 30 on the conceptualization and creation of the Red Zone channel.
Oh, for sure.
That would be very interesting.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to
Came up
see.
with it.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, it would. Oh, well,
Or a
boys,
30
this has
for
been fun.
30 on the NFL schedule making process or something.
Well, now
There's
I'm sure it's a lot
there's
less
something on
interesting.
YouTube for that. I think that it's a husband and wife team that makes the schedule. I believe.
I think it used to be that.
Now
I
it's
don't think
probably
it
just
is.
some algorithm.
I think a lot of it's very AI computer.
It's probably, I mean, it's more of an issue probably for NBA than it is NFL, but you have a lot of conflicting concerts, events, things like that everybody has to be mindful of. I've always wondered how that works. Like, how do you submit, hey, on October 29th, the Colts have to play on the road because we have a
Taylor Swift
monster truck rally coming into Lucas Oil. So how far in I mean, obviously the schedule comes out in what, April? What?
So, oh no, just the two examples you provided like couldn't be any more opposite. Kyle goes with Taylor Swift. Raimi says monster truck rally, which is much more Indiana.
Absolutely. But yeah, I wonder. I know that it's usually what, 5 or 6 months in advance when the schedule comes out. So I wonder if a lot of that other scheduling takes place beforehand. It would be really fun to dig into and see kind of how that works and how something gets approved, or does the NFL just say, no, we get first priority. Sorry, Taylor, you're going to have to move somewhere else, even though they love Taylor Swift.
That's true. That's true. Well, it looks like it's kind of slowed down here. Oh, it was
Did you either of you have Kyle? I know we kicked off the show talking about Josh Palmer and that decision. Either of you have any other kind of nerve-wracking decisions you had to make with your lineups today?
Oh,
I had Aaron Jones, but it sounds like he's going to play, so I'm not as worried about that. But I had him last week and he didn't play, but it's been one of those where when the Packers have played out west over the last few weeks, or in the 4:00 time slot or later, even on Sunday or Monday night, it's been one of those where it's like, do I wait and hope that he plays, or do I plug somebody in and try to get 60% of the potential that I could with Aaron Jones? So it's always a frustrating thing when that happens, but it's bound to happen every year.
definitely.
It is. running backs get
His-
hurt, and that's why it's important to build as much depth as you can, especially at that position.
Yeah,
And
for
players
sure.
emerge through the season. I was a moron and didn't handcuff Nick Chubb, and there's no need to relive that scenario from several weeks ago. But point is, I shit the bed and then I had to sleep in it, so it was awesome.
$99 later.
All right,
I
gentlemen.
think we're gonna. Does anybody else have any last minute questions? Otherwise, we're gonna wrap it up for this week's Tinker Time and get ourselves, comfortably ensconced on our couches,
Yeah.
or ready for Red Zone. Or
This was
Colts,
fun.
Or yeah, it's exciting.
I enjoyed myself thoroughly.
Good.
Cool. Take her out.
All right.
All right. Well, appreciate everybody that came on and asked the questions. Looking forward to it next week. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, all the fun stuff. And I won't be here, but the fellas will be back on Tuesday at 7. I'll be back to join you guys Thursday at 7, and we'll do this again next week. Appreciate all the support. Couldn't do it without you guys. Really enjoy the interaction. So hope everybody has a great football Sunday, and we'll talk to you again on Tuesday.
See you. Hold on.
Oh, we got a question.
Snuck
Happy
in.
other- Jim.
PPR at flex. Dalton Schultz or Tank Dell. I'm taking Tank Dell there. Miami or Dallas defense.
Ooh. I think this week I would go.
Give me
Miami.
Dallas against Stafford.
That offensive
Sorry, I
line
didn't
for
mean to
the
interrupt you, buddy.
Rams is that offensive line for the Rams is it's just not good, and I expect them to be constantly
Unless you're
pressuring
playing the Colts.
Stafford. Good question. Good question, Jim. We were just about to jump off, but
Yeah.
if you got any,
Yeah.
let us know. Give us a like and subscribe. But yeah, we're going with Dell and Dallas. Or Ramey was saying Miami.
Just because of the ineptitude of the New England offense. And it sounds, we talked about it earlier.
That's a good point. I really think though. Yeah, I think they're going to take the air out of the ball. They're the Patriots and keep it on the ground, limit the opportunities for turnovers. They know they can't win in a shootout against Miami. So they're going to have to take a different approach there. With Robert Woods being out for this week and maybe a little bit longer, both Schultz and Dell are good plays. I typically don't like to flex a tight end though. Just I never really have, because a lot of time their productivity has a cap on it. Tank Dell has shown this year though that he can get open down the field. He's going to be all over the place. I think he's a great play this week.
I'll stick with Miami because I think that has the potential to be a low scoring game. And if anybody scores in that game, it's going to be Miami. And if Mac has to sling the ball around, there's potential for some interceptions there. The reason also is, I think we talked about it earlier, Dallas and Los Angeles has the potential to be a shootout. So I think I would roll with Miami's defense this week, but I would certainly keep Dallas's for the long haul.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks for popping in, Jim. We appreciate you.
All right, fellas, let's go watch some football.
Yes.
Good deal.
Get something to eat.
Yeah. Yes, some lunch.
Thanks for joining, folks. Have a great day.
We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.